Hi, welcome back. Today we are doing a makeup look that is David Bowie as Jareth the Goblin King in the 1986 movie Labyrinth. Now this movie was not a success when it came out, but it did become a cult classic. And this movie is the first place I ever saw David Bowie and the reason why I knew who David Bowie was as a child. So when I was deciding which David Bowie look to do, I really thought about doing the Aladdin Sane look or some other Ziggy Stardust looks. But I decided to go with this look because it meant so much to me and it is so close to my heart and to my childhood. So if you would like to join me and watch Labyrinth and see me transform into Jareth the Goblin King, as well as learn some bits of trivia and random info, then keep on watching. Okay, so I decided that it would be a lot of fun if I watched Labyrinth. It's on silent so I don't get copyrighted while I get ready and while I do my makeup, and feel free to watch it with me. I have just started it from the beginning and it is rolling through the credits now. The first thing I need to do is block out the ends of my eyebrows. So I'm watching the very beginning of the movie Labyrinth, and you know that CGI owl that's at the very beginning flying around through the credits and stuff? That was the first CGI animal ever attempted for a movie. So we may think it looks kind of terrible now, but it was really groundbreaking at the time. You know, I picked Labyrinth to do as my makeup look because that was the first time that I saw David Bowie. That is what I knew David Bowie from as a child. I didn't know him as a singer or any of his big songs or anything like that. I didn't actually become a fan of his music until I was a little bit older. For this look, I have done a lot of research watching documentaries about him and about his music. Also, if you did not know, the dog in the beginning of this movie, the breed of the dog was chosen because it was easy to make a puppet out of. It would be easy to hide the movement of the puppet. So they chose the dog with like really long hair that could cover up a lot of the puppeteering. Now I'm a bit tanner and quite a bit more freckled than David Bowie is, so I'm going to add some NYX Pro Foundation Mixer, this white one, into my foundation to lighten it up just a little bit, and I'm going to blend it down. Another behind the scenes fun fact for you is that all of the concept art for the goblins, every goblin in this movie, is based off of the work of Brian Froud, the art by Brian Froud, whose baby, Toby Froud, is Toby in Labyrinth. Jim Henson meant to put one of Brian Froud's books into Sarah's room in that pan of the, like everything you see in her room, that's also an aspect of the Labyrinth and the Goblin City. But he forgot to put the book in, so it's not in that pan of her room. Jareth and David Bowie as well both have very strong bone structure and striking facial features. So I'm going to go a little bit heavy on my highlighting today because I want to pretend like I have these really bright parts of my face all in the center, and I'm going to heavily contour my cheekbones especially. Powder. I suppose you could call me a fake fan because I won't really shave the ends of my eyebrows off. However, I am getting married in less than 2 weeks, and so I need my eyebrows, and I don't want to have to draw them on because it will be outside on a hot day. So, can't shave them off this time. Sorry, guys. So if you weren't really a big David Bowie fan, or if you don't know much about who he is, don't worry. I didn't know too much aside from Labyrinth before I did some research about him and watched a couple documentaries on him, which I will link in the description box so that everybody can watch them if you want to learn a little bit more about him. But I learned that his family had a history of schizophrenia, and his grandmother and mother may have been touched by it as well. His brother was born out of wedlock, so he went to live with his grandmother, who was horribly abusive to him physically and emotionally. And then when his mother got married to her new husband and had baby David, his older brother Terry came back to live with them. He really looked up to Terry. He loved him very much. There was a very real connection between the two boys, but Terry ended up having schizophrenia, just like so many members of his family, and he ended up having multiple suicide attempts at a mental institution and succeeding on his final attempt, where that is where the song, I believe it's called Jump They Say, by David Bowie is from. It is about that situation. It took him many, many years to come to terms with it and be able to even write a song about it and express how he felt. He always faced the fear that he would have the same illness, that it would come for him as well. And then he spent many, many years creating his own psychoses by doing so much cocaine and really putting himself in an unhealthy mental and emotional state. David Bowie ended up moving to West Berlin with his friend and co-rock star Iggy Pop to get clean and to sort his life out. You know, I think a lot of people know David Bowie's old music, like Space Oddity, and his album Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars, and even things like Heroes, which wasn't big when it came out, but is one of his most critically acclaimed songs. But I have just started listening to some of his newer, I shouldn't say his new stuff, he doesn't have any new stuff, but I have just started listening to some of the last things that he put out before he passed. And it's very interesting. It's very dark with a lot of morbid themes, which, I mean, he was going through cancer treatments privately at the time. Nobody knew. It was very secret. He made his band members all sign non-disclosure agreements, and they said that wasn't even necessary, that they would have kept quiet just out of their love and respect and admiration for him. But, so, you know, he must have been going through something very dark at the time. I know, as another bit of trivia that I learned from watching documentaries, a lot of people think that he has, or had, 2 different colored eyes, but that is not true. He got in a fist fight in school with a longtime friend over a girl, and it caused a serious eye injury, which damaged the muscles of his eye, and he had 3 operations to save his vision, but it caused permanent damage to his pupil, where one of his pupils was permanently enlarged. So the difference in size of the pupil caused one eye to look a different color or darker than the other eye. But it's just the pupil size. And I can kind of relate to him on that because for some reason, and I have no idea why, I typically have one pupil that is larger than the other one. And somebody actually made a comment on it on my last video. Most people don't notice it, but let's see how it looks right now. They look pretty similar right now. Let's wait and see what happens. I chose to use eyeshadow instead of brow powder, and it is pigmented. Thank you, Alyssa Edwards. Good golly. Okay. Sisters, not twins. Let me know in the comments down below what era of Bowie was your favorite. Was it the early 70s when he was just breaking out with Ziggy Stardust, or was it the later 70s when he was really high on cocaine? Was it the 80s when he made really terrible music, which he admitted to because he was trying to please everybody else instead of making art that meant something to him? Was it the 90s when music videos in the world finally caught up to him? Which one of David Bowie's makeup looks do you like the best? Was it the Ziggy Stardust moon gold symbol on the forehead with the gold lips? Or was it the Aladdin Sane lightning bolt over his eye? In this look, David Bowie isn't really wearing anything on his eyelashes. He has no false lashes on. He doesn't really have a lot of mascara or anything on that I can tell. It's all kept very simple and very plain. But I am curling my lashes and adding lash primer and mascara because I feel like I need something there. I also have very hooded eyes just like David Bowie, so it was not hard for me to create the same exact eye look that he had. Another fun fact for Labyrinth is that David Bowie's face is hidden in the movie like 7 times. He's in the rocks in a couple scenes. He's, I think, hidden in Sarah's room somewhere. Oh, there's a picture of him with Sarah's mother in her photo album as well as up on her mirror. Also, David Bowie's makeup and outfits definitely change throughout the movie, so you kind of have to pick a shot that is a good close-up from a random scene and use that as a reference photo. And if you compare photos, then they could all be different. So it's just kind of going on the gist of the look that he wore. Fun little personal fact about me, the Fireys, better known as the monsters or goblins in the Chili Down scene, used to scare me as a child. I thought the scene was terrifying. I thought they were freaky. I thought it was all weird and gross, and I did not like it. I think maybe the biggest thing that I have learned from Bowie and all of this research about him is to just create art, and to create art that is true to me and that means something to me. And if other people connect with it and identify with it, then that is a wonderful, beautiful thing. But it should be something that is for me. And that's something that's hard to take to heart, because you always want to create things that other people like, or that you think other people will like. But that's when you create the bad art, like David Bowie in the 80s. You have to stick to what is personal and deep to you. David Bowie did not have face highlight in the movie. He might have had a little bit of shimmer in the ballroom scene and the fantasy bubble scene, but typically throughout most of the movie he did not. But this is me we're talking about, so highlight it is. Time to put on the wig. I ask for so little. Just fear me love me. Do as I say, and I will be your slave. Well, here's the finished look. So today is actually the next day because I forgot to film the outro while I was filming the rest of my video last night, which is why there are probably inconsistencies in lighting. So today I had to put my makeup back on and put my wig back on just to film this outro for you guys. So please, please, please like this video and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so that you are always notified of my new videos. And let me know down in the comments if you have any requests for a makeup look or for a character for me to do. Until next time, bye-bye.